If you had seen the home tour video, you know that I've left a teaser over there for this video, correct? Why did we borrow $150,000? Now, this amount is not small. And this is actually a hack, but not really a hack. It's more of a financing strategy. Today, I'll be sharing with you the dynamics of what this financing strategy exactly is. I'll be sharing with you why did we take up this loan? How is this loan structured? Because this might be something that you can apply also. And with that, let's roll in the intro video. Hi guys, welcome back. I actually bought this property back a few years ago at about $1.2 million. And if you do know, properties can be financed with mortgage loans. And mortgage loans are about the cheapest loans there are in the market. In the market, there is renovation loan, there's car loan, there's personal loan, there's stocks margin. And all in all, mortgage loan is about the cheapest you can find anywhere in the market. Simply because of two things. First, property prices are relatively stable, which means they don't go down 10% overnight, unless your house is on fire, of course. Which means banks are generally more open to collateralizing properties itself. That's why you can get loan rates about 1 to 1.5% as of this time of filming. The second thing is property loans being so slow in terms of prices, there is very little risk of margin calls. Unlike stocks, if you buy on margin, you realize that if it drops 20-30%, you could get into margin call. So property loans are very stable, and that is where this $150,000 loan is actually coming from. And before we get to the details, let me ask you this question. Have you read this book before by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad? And in that book, a key philosophy is always good debts and bad debts. So what exactly are bad debts? Because ultimately, both of them are still debt. Now, bad debt is simply things you borrow or something that you borrow in an effort to buy an expense. When you buy a car, you take on a car loan. That car is literally an expense. It costs you money, correct? Instead of giving you money. So bad debts are 100% wasted away because you're buying something that expenses. Same with renovation. When you renovate a house, you take a loan of $50,000. That renovation is not going to earn you any money, but that renovation is purely for your homestay, your utility. So that loan actually costs you money. That's actually bad debt. But what about good debt? Good debt, on the other hand, gets you returns. When you buy a property, an investment property, on margin, and you have rental income, that is actually good debt. When you buy stocks, and you actually have margin, and you earn above your margin amount, then that could be good debt. But again, usually I'll advise against stock borrowing. But the fundamental part is, if you're able to get returns above your cost of borrowing, that is actually good debt. But that means you're using that money to buy assets that produces income above what is costing you in terms of expense. Make sense? And I'll give you an example. If you are owning a property right now, a home, and you have the option of using your CPFOA to pay off that bank loan, and the bank loan costs you 1.5% only. And CPFOA, if you already know, pays you 2.5%. So there is absolutely no reason to use CPFOA 2.5% to pay off a bank loan at 1.5%, correct? If you sit status quo, you borrow 1.5% and you just park it inside CPFOA, don't use it to pay off, you actually earn 2.5%, which means you earn a spread of 1%. That is the simplest term of good debt. And with that iron out of the way, let me show you what I exactly did. This property actually was bought at about $1.2 million. And after paying off for a few years, the remaining loan was around $800,000. So if this property was revalued, because now markets have trended upwards, correct? Let me pull up a chart for you to see private property index. Very likely this property, if it's sold on the open market, can fetch a slightly higher amount than what I bought. Which means a valuer will give it a valuation of a higher amount, correct? And let's put that number at $1.3 million. Now, if I take this existing bank loan, which was previously from OCBC, and I go to another new financing company or a new bank, the bank would use the valuation of $1.3 million, correct? And give a 75% loan, assuming a few factors are matched. For example, that loan can be supported by income. That is the TDSR. And for example, that loan can be qualified at 75% because there's only one property mortgage. Then naturally, if the property is valued at $1.3 million, the total loan amount that this new bank would give is $975,000. So if you follow me to here, you realize that, hey, the previous loan at OCBC was $800,000+. Now this new bank is willing to give me a loan of $975,000. What does that exactly mean? That means they take over the loan of $800,000+, and then you can actually do something called a mortgage equity with the remaining $175,000. Now, if you've heard of mortgage equity before, then maybe this tutorial really helps you in some way. But I'll run through some key details, and in any case, always consult a qualified mortgage consultant. Now, let me pull up some details on what you can actually find on websites. Mortgage equity, if you realize over here, is something that you can borrow only with private properties. HDBs cannot be used to draw out mortgage equity. And when it comes to mortgage equity, you also need to follow same things. Your TDSR, you also need to follow the 75% rule if you're looking to take that amount of loan. And there may be further restrictions according to your circumstance, so always consult a qualified mortgage consultant. But the concept of mortgage equity works like that. So as you can see in this picture over here, this $150,000 is actually a mortgage equity loan drawn out from the house itself. And it was transferred into a bank account and right now deployed. So the next section, I'll be sharing with you what are some ideas that I've been thinking about deploying this amount of cash. Now, if you have benefited, smash your like button because it's taken our team hours to prepare this presentation for you. And if you have questions, leave them in the comment sections below. Now, let me show you my train of thought, what I'm considering deploying this amount of money towards. As I've shared with you on this channel, banks, in my opinion, are not yet too expensive. In that tutorial, I actually shared that I believe that dividends for 2022 might be even better than current moment. That is, of course, my own thesis. Banks, in my opinion, might be still seeing good times ahead. The second, what about REITs? REITs is something I've covered also in this previous video, which I'll leave towards the end of this tutorial. REITs, in my opinion, are a good hedge against inflation, simply because they are able to collect increased rental if economies are heating up, economies are doing well. Then what about something safer, something less volatile, because there's simply no need to rush to put everything into equities right away. And bonds can be a place to get invested into also. Now, in this tutorial I've shared before, bonds, they can be purchased individually, or you can buy a bond ETF or a bond fund itself to get diversified. And the whole idea again is if you can get a return that's above the mortgage cost, then naturally this is good debt taken on. So with so many options, the real art is really to deploy this cash to the right sources based on the risk appetite. And if you have excess cash, then there's no need to draw out mortgage equity, because probably the problem that you might be facing is how to deploy your cash. You're having too much cash in your bank account, and this mortgage equity will just add on more cash, which does not make sense. Then if you need solutions on how to deploy your cash, look for my links below. I can do a one-to-one consult on how to do retirement planning and asset allocation. So back to the point, how much have I deployed already of this 150,000? I've actually moved out 80,000 already into some of the ideas that I mentioned already. And then there's still another 70,000 sitting there. That could be war chest cash that needs to be deployed if market corrections come about. In previous tutorial I did share, every year there's almost a certainty of a market correction of a small or medium magnitude. 5, 10, 15%, I think it usually comes. And with that, there could be opportunities to buy further. So that's my strategy in a nutshell. So if you've benefited, smash on subscribe. We'll be launching more videos along this line, and check out any of these tutorials which might help you further. With that, I'll sign off and see you there. Take care and goodbye.